This is Rick Surowicz. You're watching my YouTube channel, Rick Surowicz Watercolor. I'm live in my studio. I'm going to be working on the second in a series of mini landscape paintings that I'm doing. And if you haven't already, you'll want to watch the introduction to this series where I talk about the size of the paper I'm using and how you can frame these up in a nice 8x10 mat. You can find the links to the materials related to this on my website, on my Learning Center page under Projects, which is under free content. There I'll have the reference of this painting, I'll have the template, and I'll have the video there also. So everything for that series will be there, but you can find the links in the description of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to get right into the painting here. These are intended to be very simple paintings that you can do, nice little compositions that you can paint fairly quickly and then mat them and frame them if you want. You can also do these on a little greeting card format and send them as notes to people if you want. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on this. So I'm going to start with some cerulean blue. And I'm just going to paint kind of a partly cloudy day. Take some water. So I leave some gaps from where I apply the paint and just come in with some water and soften the edges. I might blot that a little with a tissue to lighten some areas up. I'm going to bring that blue across here. Bring that wash down right along here where the horizon meets the ocean. And I'm going to get just a touch more, perhaps, of the cerulean blue, a little more pigment in the mixture, just to enhance the contrast of the kind of clouds. A little bit more. Alright, I think I'm good with that. Now, what I want to do is I want to quickly dry that, and then I'm going to come in and start to paint some of these layers. So I'm going to grab my hairdryer and I'm going to give this a quick dry. Alright, this is dry. Now I'm going to take my, I think I'm going to take some cobalt blue. I had a little green in my brush there, I didn't want that. I'm going to take a little cobalt blue. And I got some green in there. Go with this. So then I'm going to add a little rose madder. And really what I want is a bit of a kind of a reddish violet. So there we have it. I'm fighting with my palette, a little paint where I don't want it. A little more of the red. So now I have that little light violet shape there. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to go ahead and put this first layer of trees in. Kind of a blue green tone, I think. And I'm going to let it kind of get a little wet and wet here as I bring it down to the edge of this violet. And let that just kind of soften into there. Along the top edge. I'm going to add some water. Just let that kind of come down. let's see, I want a little bit more of an edge there. So there's no really, I'm not using a reference for this. This is actually just a imaginary composition. But I now have this landmass here and these trees. I might give a little bit more shape to the top here. Probably enough. And now I'm going to give that a quick dry. Okay, we got that dry. Now I'm going to take a little sap green. So I'm going to get a little warmer with my colors. I'm going to take some quinacridone gold. Perhaps. Just a little that gray in there. And I'm going to give an indication of another tree line here. So you can see my colors are a little brighter, a little warmer. And a little more green. I'm going to take some red in that to gray this down. I'm going to get a little darker as I get here towards the base. Maybe throw in a little of that red. Tree back there. Probably want to work in a little of that gold if I can, a little lighter. Alright, so now I have another layer of trees there. And once again, I'm going to give this a quick dry. Alright, that's dry. And now I'm going to come in with a darker green. It's going to be leaning warm though. So we'll start up here. I'm going to work some gold in there still. Too much on the brush. I'm going to take some royal blue. I'm going to let that dry because I'm going to leave that, give the impression of a little bit of a rocky edge to that. And let's see if we can scrape a little into this. Scrape. I don't necessarily like a few of those marks. I'm going to break them up some. Scrape a little bit more up here to the trunk. Scrape that in there. Alright. Now once again, I'm going to dry this. Pop that a little bit, break that up. Alright, so that's dry. And now I'm going to take some of this gold. Actually, I might take some of this quinacridone burnt orange, some quinacridone gold. I'm going to glaze over that. And next, I'm going to take my wash brush, I'm going to glaze this area here. I'm going to get a little royal blue. A little burnt sienna. And I'm going to scrape this a little bit. A little more of that blue. I don't mind that actually. I'm going to scrape, just kind of give a little bit of a rockiness to this. Create a little bit of that kind of a flat surface. Now I'm going to dry that once again. Alright, that's dry. I'm going to clean an area here on my palette. And I'm going to take my flat brush, take some royal blue, with a little bit of sap green in it, give me a nice kind of a nice blue green. I'm going to drop that in here. Just leave that kind of a broken edge feel here. And bring a little bit in here. Just leave the impression that there's some waves out there. And I'm going to dry that. Okay, that's dry. And now I'm going to take a little royal blue, and I'll take some burnt sienna. I'm going to take my liner brush, give a suggestion of a tree trunk. I'm going to paint some kind of dried trees in there. I'm going to just make it look like there's a few grassy shapes or some, some weeds growing up. Not a lot. I might take just a little of this blue and give this little kind of lone tree standing out there. Maybe I'll make another one right beside it, a little taller. Now I just have those faint trees out there, and then I'm going to paint my little gulls. Paint there. Lift that off. Had some paint on my tissues, some green paint that I didn't really want. Let's see here, I might make a couple linear marks in here just to indicate maybe there's some rocks and things. Create a little more edge. And that's probably enough. Let's see, I think maybe I'm actually gonna strengthen that edge there a little, perhaps a little there, and I'm gonna stop messing with it. So we'll put that on, and let me straighten this up a little bit for you. Get this centered. So there we have another quick little painting that you could do, frame a little 8x10, and you know, not a lot of fussing with it. It's just kind of a simple composition. And this is number 2 in my series. So thanks for watching this, and you can find the reference material on the Learning Center page of my website, rsurowiczart.com. The links are in the comments.